Hey creepers, welcome to another week of You're Creeping Me Out, where every week we try to give each other the creeps with our favorite dark histories, mysteries, and lore. Hello, Carly.
Hello.
If you are watching us, you will notice that we are in a brand spanking new haunted house.
Wow.
So I dedicated a corner of one of our back rooms just to podcasting so that I do not have to tear everything down and bring everything back up. The room we were previously recording in was our dining room. Yeah. And this makes life much easier.
Yes, it does.
And plus, you can see our faces. It's easier to look at the camera. That's in the old podcast setup. I didn't look very much because it felt weird to be like, it just felt like an aside.
And I felt like every time I did that, I'd be like, I felt like Jim from The Office. Like,
yeah, it's like breaking the third wall.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. But here it feels more natural. It feels equally natural to look at both.
Yeah.
So if you are watching, give us feedback if you like this way better. If you like the other way better, too bad. Because
can't tell.
This is the way it's going to go.
Can't do anything for you.
I also was thinking this too. This painting up here reminds me of the shipwreck stuff. I know it's like a ghost ship.
Like a ghost ship.
Yeah. So.
Giving Black Pearl vibes.
Exactly.
Like from Pirates. Oh, there's a couple ships in there. I like it.
I do too. Good vibes. Plus, these chairs are actually more comfortable than the ones in my dining room. And there's arms in case,
We just feel like, yeah.
So, what's your creepy thing this week?
Okay, my creepy thing this week is actually your haunted house.
Like actually the house that we're in right now?
That we're in right now. Well, two things, I guess.
I love and hate that my home is your creepy thing.
In a fun way.
Okay, all right. I mean, even in a not fun way, it still makes sense.
Yeah. So we just had a game night the other night, and there were two instances. One was more of like a technology thing, but on Cherokee's fridge, there's rotating pictures. And not once, but twice. And how many? There's like thousands of pictures.
Oh my God, there's
right?
so many pictures on there. Yeah, it's like a carousel of pictures, and it's like a lot of just me and James, or just like
random
our friend. It's kind of like our little love pictures, whatever.
So there, not once but twice, was Cherokee explaining a picture that we needed to see, and it came the next up. Picture
that was so
came
weird.
up.
So the first one, because I think Alicia was like, "Oh, I love the pictures on your fridge. That's so cool." I'm like, "Oh, wait until you see James as Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones riding a dinosaur." And
so specific.
And Carly goes, "There it is." It came up right as I said it. And then I was like, "Oh, and the other one is me, like AI me in high school."
Yeah.
And then Carly's like, "You mean that?" And it just was like back to, you're right. That was so strange.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And then there is, from our other episodes, there's a light in the hallway that is motion censored.
Yeah.
And that kept on going on, which like isn't totally crazy, but nobody was walking back there, obviously.
But it used to do that during our podcast too. I think all it takes is me to gesture with my arms.
That's true. And then the music kept turning up.
That was strange.
Yeah.
I had the music set through Bluetooth to play through our speaker, and the volume was set. I kept thinking Eddie is Carly's boyfriend, and he was sitting next to me. I kept thinking he was fucking with me and like doing it like when I wasn't looking. And then he was like, "I didn't do anything." And then I would turn it, because it was down as low as it went.
Yeah.
So it would get loud. I'm like, well, I'll just turn it down. And I would go to turn it down, it would turn off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's still as low as
it can go.
But it keeps getting loud.
Higher.
And
Yeah.
Definitely goes. I mean, we did have a man die in our living room or our dining room, so
that's my creepy thing.
Fucking right. That is creepy. I like it. I'll take it. I'm glad you weren't like, so the bugs in this house.
No.
So I saw a rat when I went to pee later or earlier.
Just the fun go, because it's all like in fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, my creepy thing is much more gross.
Okay. So we balance each other out.
As we do. If you live in LA, you've probably already heard of this happening. It's not, even now, it's been a minute past, but did you hear about the Boyle Heights fire?
Yes.
So there was a fire in LA.
Can I tell you a crazy thing about that?
Yeah.
The day that started, Eddie and I were in Disneyland, and when we were driving home, he was driving, and I was like noticing, because we were kind of far away at this point, driving back from Anaheim to LA, and I was like, what are, like, those clouds are like really weird and ominous, and I was like, they look man-made, because it was like cloud, and then like a weird diagonal, and then nothing. And as we got closer, I was like, I think that's a fire.
It was that fire.
And I opened Citizen, and it was like, was it like a meat like
I think
refrigeration?
I don't think it was a
food
packing
refrigeration
plant. I think it
place?
was a refrigeration. So it was
Yeah,
400
it was
square
cold
feet.
storage
Yes.
for food.
Yes. It was
for
meat and bread. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it was like, I guess we saw the second fire. It had caught fire earlier in the day, and then it like reignited.
Yeah.
And so we were like, huh, that's so strange. And then it go into what it kind of turned into.
So it was a 400,000 foot food freezer, essentially.
Oh my
And
gosh.
there were solar panels on top of it. And that's where the fire started.
Whoa.
But because of the nature of refrigeration and all the chemicals,
Yeah.
by the time it burned down, it like started burning crazy. So the first fire happened, they got it out because it was like kind of superficial in the building.
Yeah.
But then the second fire started and it was so deep in the building, if you've ever seen Backdraft.
Yes.
So the firemen couldn't enter the building because there were no windows.
Oh.
So they couldn't smash windows, they couldn't do anything to get air in there. And because the solar panels were on the top and that's where the fire had started, they
Yeah.
couldn't enter it until it burned itself out.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like 5 days of just burning. And we live, I don't even know how far Boyle Heights is, like 20 miles, 30 miles. It's pretty far. We're
Yeah.
on the opposite side of the city that Boyle Heights is. And then maybe it was like day 3, because we obviously didn't get any smoke up here, but I'd accidentally left our downstairs window open. And I came downstairs in the morning and it smelled like burning plastic. And I was like, did I leave something in the toaster oven? And then I looked outside, it was really hazy. I'm like, oh, there must be a fire. And I opened the Watch Duty app and it was like, the only fire was the Boyle Heights but I looked at the direction the wind was. I'm like, oh my God, that's the smoke from that. And it smelled toxic. And we are 20, 30 miles away from it.
Yeah, you're super far. I smelled burning definitely
Yeah.
from where I lived. I cannot believe that you guys had that up here.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we were getting like drops of ash and everything all the way up here.
Oh my gosh.
So obviously the fire in itself is terrible.
Yeah.
But the creepy thing is because it was a meat factory, one, the smell of the toxic everything burning, but then the smell once they got the fire out of all the rotten meat.
Oh.
Because it's 400,000 square feet. I think they said it was like 12 million pounds of food, 12 or 13 million pounds of food that were just in there. So like, it's not like you can just take a dustpan. I mean, it's like crews
Yeah.
and like, and they also have to wait for it to stop smoldering. And there was a guy on Instagram that went and like was showing you like on his phone, like what it looked. And he's like, at first I thought it was like mattress pad, like the
Yeah.
stuffing. And he got closer, it was pig's feet, like thousands of pig's feet, just like piled up as far as you could see. So the smell. So first of all, the poor people who live by there had to smell the fire, the toxic fumes for days and days. Then they have to smell this rotting meat, like. And the rotting meat was like weeks. It still probably is terrible. And then, it was bread and meat. So then the bread's rotting too.
Right.
So then because of the rotting stuff, the rats came.
Oh no.
So then the whole neighborhood's having problems with rats. And then food attracts flies.
yeah.
So then so the poor people that lived by this it was like end of times. I'm like, when are the frogs going to start
Literally,
falling
oh my
from the sky?
gosh.
And they're still dealing with it. They still haven't cleaned it all the way up. It's just too much.
I also saw someone on Instagram that was like, because obviously I think for at least 2 weeks after, the air quality by me was super bad.
Yeah.
And he was saying like on there, I don't know what exactly he was measuring, but he was just like, for me, it's not terrible because I'm here measuring it. I'm going to leave and it's going to,
Yeah, he
like,
doesn't
my
have,
body's going to filter it out. But for
Yeah.
the people that actually
They
live
have to
there,
live there.
like, that's going to cause damage.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. And that's the thing too. Unfortunately, it's in an area that's like more poor.
Yeah.
So it's not like those people are like, let's just go get a
Can
hotel.
relocate, yeah.
Or even like to get away for the night. And a lot
Yeah.
of families in that area, it's like many families living in one home. So it's not like, let's go stay with grandma or aunt because they
Right.
already live in the same place or they
Yeah.
live in the same neighborhood. So yeah, it's terrible and gross. Every time I read a story about it, I'm like, ugh. I just try I had a client the other day. She was just driving past on the freeway.
Yeah.
And she had her windows up, her AC on, and she said she could smell it through her car.
no. Ew.
It's so gross. I love that, like, most of my, like, creepy things and topics are, like, disgusting things. Like, I really want to gross people out.
No, well, I mean, I don't love that, but I like that I am familiar because I literally was just like, oh, we drove by it. We didn't really think it was much of a thing.
Yeah.
And then I guess Eddie has a group chat with a bunch of his friends and someone brought it up like, oh my gosh, did you hear this crazy thing? And he was like, was that what we saw yesterday? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw the very beginnings of it. That's crazy about the windows. That makes sense though, because if they would have introduced air to it, it would have just exploded.
Yeah, because that's the thing is all the refrigeration and the solar panels. So the solar panels made it burn really hot.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why they just had to let it burn out because everyone was like, they're not doing their job and Karen Bass and all this stuff. I'm like, it's literally they can't enter.
Yeah.
They're not going to risk their
safety
lives.
Of theirs, but also
and there's
all
no
of the
people in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it sucks the air, but like you're not going to be like, well, we can just kill a few firemen to get the air better. Like, no, it's not a good trade-off. Depending on who the firemen are. Just kidding. We love firemen. Especially in their uniforms. Hubba hubba.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's my creepy thing.
Crazy. Other than that, how are you going to creep me out today?
Besides grossing you out.
Besides grossing me out with the mention of pig's feet.
My topic today is not very gross, so I feel like I had to like get that out of there.
Drive it home.
So there are plenty of reasons that nobility throughout history have been an absolute pox on mankind and generally terrible humans.
Ooh, a pox.
I just love the word pox.
I do.
It's also going to come back around in this podcast.
Okay.
But one fun reason is that they tend to test horribly dangerous and risky new things on their subjects and servants.
Oh.
Have you heard of food testers?
I mean, in the general sense, but probably not in the sense that
in the ancient nobility, not ancient.
Oh, is it like the ones that they would try food before a king, just in case it was poisoned?
Yeah,
fun.
So basically today we're talking about nobles who use those around them in these ways.
Okay,
there are many ways to kill a king, but one of the easiest ways to get away with is using poison.
Yes,
I love talking about poison. As early as 1198, an advisor to the Sultan of Egypt and Syria advised against eating foods with uneven textures, such as soups and stews, or strong flavors that could conceal the flavor or texture of poison, such as onions, garlic, or other highly flavored components.
Interesting.
He would have loved Hometown Buffet.
Yeah.
He's like, don't eat any food with taste or flavor and nothing that tastes good. It's got to be like pudding, no texture, basics. Crunch. Get out of here.
No seasonings.
No seasonings.
Thank you.
Yeah, because, anything too, like, sweet or salty or vinegary or anything like that could conceal the flavor of poison. A 16th century Italian mathematician and cartographer agreed with the Egyptian advisor, which sounds a lot like social media chiropractors making reels about toxic skincare these days. Like, you're a mathematician and a cartographer? Like, what are you doing? Like, he wrote a whole book about, like, all this medical stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
why?
I didn't even write his name down because I'm like, that's just dumb.
That is dumb. What an idiot. But people believed him.
But it's also kind of like a surgeon barber.
They're like, it's in a book.
Like back in the day, it's like, I do surgery and I cut your hair.
Yeah.
You need a mustache.
It's a twofer.
Or an appendectomy.
I got you.
Yeah. Anyway, this Italian homie wrote a book about it, and I love the title, so here you go. The Secrets of the Reverend Maester Alexis of Piedmont, containing excellent remedies against diverse diseases, wounds, and other accidents, with the manner to make distillations, perfumes, confitures, dyeings, colors, fusions, and meltings. That was the title of the book. That is a title. I'm like, wait, but he's a mathematician and a cartographer.
It's funny because when you were started off with The Secret, I just thought of The Secret World of Alex Mack, that like show. And then you were like, Alexis. And I was like, oh.
So he also agreed with the original guy that anything with too much sweet, spice, salt, or general flavor of any kind could easily be poisoned.
Okay.
So I would just imagine, like, as a noble, to stay safe, you would have to just eat the most bland shit ever.
Was this a thing that was happening a lot? Was like the poisoning of nobility running rampant that all of a sudden, or was it just like the idea?
I think it was more the idea. The other thing you have to remember too back then is like if somebody just dropped dead, they didn't have an autopsy. They didn't have a toxicology report. So somebody could very well have just dropped dead of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And it would be like, they were poisoned.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things were blamed on poison that maybe weren't necessarily poison.
Totally.
Or like, the case of Aqua Tofana, like people got away with it for a long time until
Until
it was
they were
like they were
like-
being poisoned.
Yeah.
And even that story, like some people say it was 50, some people say it was 500 because there's really no way to know. But also, I think it's pretty well documented. Kings through the ages have always been really paranoid.
Yes.
Because yeah, obviously everybody's trying to kill the king, especially so primogeniture is when the kingship is passed down through family. But before like the 1500s, even the 1600s, primogeniture wasn't a thing in most of Europe. So it was just like in Roman times, it was, they kill Caesar. And then it's like, well,
Right.
now we got to vote.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would take years before they would elect a new king because this group would elect somebody and this group, but then they were like, no. And then they would fight each other and they'd have wars over who was going to be the king. So that's, I think, why primogeniture people were just kind of like, it'll be peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, pick that family, like the general public. Obviously,
Totally.
people that could be in the running
Yeah.
were still fighting for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that, it was a dangerous time to be a king. So
sure.
people were just kind of paranoid
Yeah. That
about
makes
it.
sense.
But with that paranoia comes just like eating really bland stuff.
What a bummer.
So in the 16th century, a Spanish duke took a drink of wine that tasted weird and immediately jumped up in panic asking for a remedy. But his wine steward informed him that the wine flask wasn't rinsed after holding vinegar, but it was perfectly fine. So,
Classic.
that's the other thing too is, yeah, this thing may have tasted weird because of something like that.
Yeah.
It may just be off.
Right.
They may be eating meat that wasn't
Wine could have been
cold
corked.
enough.
You know?
Totally, yeah. And back then, they didn't know germ theory. They didn't know bacteria. Like, imagine, like how it tastes when you eat a moldy piece of bread.
I've never tasted a moldy piece of bread.
Or like a moldy vegetable, like a blueberry or something that's like got a little funk on
you're
it.
like, something's not right
Yeah.
here. Or
But
like when you
we
smell milk. That's going to be my new thing. Like if ever something tastes weird, I'm going to be like, I've been
I'm
poisoned.
poisoned. Where's my remedy?
I need the remedy immediately.
Like that we're on the same page with
Me
this.
too.
But yeah, that's the thing too. Now, like we know mold, we know, that kind of thing. So if we
Yeah.
taste it, we know what it is.
Yeah.
But back then it's like, I've been poisoned.
Yeah.
Like who knows?
That's immediately where your mind goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now it's going to.
Yes.
I'm very important. People want to take me out.
It's true.
So because of this, thousands of years ago, kings began hiring dudes whose sole job it was to taste everything the king was going to consume before the king to prevent the king from being poisoned. Okay. I'm not sure who wins for worst royal job, the royal taster or the cesspool manager.
I feel like it'd be the royal taster because if people aren't really poisoning that much, you just get to eat a lot of
That's
like
my
really
thought.
delightful
Is like
food.
at least he gets to eat and drink like a king.
Yeah, exactly.
Until his potential untimely death.
Right.
But it's
You
like,
know what? You're gonna.
but also, what if there is
What a
no
ride.
untimely? Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like, but boy, did I feast.
Yeah.
The cesspool manager's just. There's just no. He's not
no-
going to die, but he probably wants to.
Yeah. There's no upside of that.
I mean, he might also die too from like the plague or like the diseases that would come from
Yes.
being around matter.
Yeah.
Ugh, body matter. Unfortunately, most poisons used for murder in these days did not work quickly. So remember aqua tofana. It was like a little bit every week and it would take a long time for it to build up and they
Right.
would get symptoms as if they had like the flu or whatever. But it wasn't that like eye bulging, neck groping moment where the taster would like, "Ugh," and then croak, like you see in like Clue or whatever.
Right.
So that's the other thing too, is that's kind of like what everyone was expecting to happen.
It's like a slow build.
Yeah, so even if the taster was being poisoned,
Yeah.
very likely they were still being slowly poisoned.
Yeah.
And then also so was the king because they were like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like there's no real way to know
Sure.
with that kind of poison. There's not a lot of like natural poisons that will just like instantly, unless it's like poisonous frog or something like that. But they didn't have that in England.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have access to that kind of stuff. But especially like arsenic, it's a very slow poison.
It is when you like keep it at a place that you can't taste it. Because right, I'm assuming that arsenic has
doesn't have a
very-
taste.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why they think it was in aqua tofana because of like the tasteless, odorless. It's like an undetectable poison.
Got it.
Like some of them have like a taste or a
Yeah.
smell to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing too, is that, and that was the best way to poison people was like in slow doses because then it's not like an obvious thing.
It's like they're for a while they haven't really been feeling well.
Yeah.
Like they're not feeling like themselves, and then
Yeah. It's like, why did my teeth start
Yeah.
falling out?
Yeah.
I don't have
is
any eyebrows
happening to
anymore.
me?
It's just the flu.
Yeah.
So because most rulers were not aware of the fact that poison was slow, they would still just look for the sign of like the instant croak.
Yeah.
And then if that didn't happen, then they would
They're fine.
consume the food.
Was it one taster or was there like a rotation of tasters?
Ooh, I'm not sure about the rotation part, but definitely any person that would come in contact with the food would also have to taste it to
Okay.
prove that like, so like this guy carried this plate from here to there, then he would have to taste it to be like, look, I didn't poison it, because a poisoner wouldn't want to eat the food that had poison in it.
Right.
So there was definitely like the final taster
Right.
that would taste it before the king ate it, but then everyone along the way also had to taste it, I think, just to either prove they weren't poisoning or to like deter them from poisoning.
Got it.
So the food was heavily tasted.
All right.
And at some point, it was suggested that one forkful of food was not enough to truly test for poison, and that the taster should be eating copious amounts of the food in question.
What a lucky guy.
It makes me think it was like probably one of the servants, like, buddy, you gotta be eating more than that, just to like make sure his friend was like well fed, because they knew like probably no
I
poison.
guess
in
I'll
it.
take one for the team.
So Henry VIII, when Prince Edward, his son, was young, he was so paranoid because, you know, he had had such a hard time getting a son and he only had one. He was really paranoid. So he had tasters stuff their faces with the young prince's milk, bread, meat, eggs, and butter before the boy took as much as a spoonful.
Wow.
So just like bowl of butters, like,
If that
just
was
gotta
me, I'd be
taste
like
it.
looking at this person eating my food and I'd be
You're
like,
like,
I'm
hungry.
hungry. I just want to eat.
Please give me my food. Your question of like how many people tasted, I don't know if there were specifically multiple tasters.
Yeah.
But like I said, it passed through hands.
Yeah.
And most courts had really specific instructions on exactly how the food needed to be tasted.
Got it.
So like, for example, a meat pie had to have the crust broken and then dipped into the sauce of the pie so that they could taste both components of the pie. So if a food had multiple components, all the components had to be tasted. The servants who carried the food into the banquet, they also had to test. And to test, you know, they're not going to put it on the table and test it in front of the king.
Right.
So they would put it on these like little tables on the side of the room. And those became known as credenzas. Because credenza means credence. And credence was like the process of testing the poison. So that's what credenza, that's the name of it.
Interesting.
So it's literally just a piece of furniture to put food on to test it before you take it to the king.
Take it to the king.
Which now it's like a credenza is actually like the serving furniture.
Right.
But back then it was just like a
taste
a
tester.
stop and spot for the testing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
I know, I liked it. I love a fun fact. So because of all this, by the time the royal actually received his food, it was likely lukewarm and looked like dog food from everyone that had dipped into it. So
Yeah.
imagine this beautiful pie, and then every single person has to take off the crust, dip it into the sauce. It's going to look horrible.
Awful.
And never hot. You're
Yeah.
never going to get hot food with this
No.
process. Especially imagine a castle where the kitchen and because like I've been to Hampton Court Palace. It's not a super huge long way, but there's people passing along the way.
Right.
So by the time it gets there, good luck. So
What a bummer.
when they say like, he ate like a king, I'm like, oh, that I want to
like-
eat like the poison taster.
Yeah, same. I'd be like, enough of this. Just give me the food.
I know. I'm like,
If it's
I'll
my
take the
time,
risk.
it's
It
my
looks
time.
delicious. Don't destroy my pie. So in these times, servants didn't only test for food safety. They also tested the water that the king would wash in to make sure it didn't cause pain, itching, or burning.
Okay. Interesting.
So from what I read, it was more of like there would be like a basin of water to like wash his hands or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they would test a bath that way. I didn't read anything about that, but that would be real weird for a dirty ass servant to like,
get in
and
there
then like,
before.
nope, water's fine, and like get out, and then the king is
It's
in the
just
dirty
like-
servant water.
Yeah.
So I don't know kind of how that worked, or maybe the servant put his hands in it before the king. I don't really know, but for sure, any kind of water in a basin, servant had to test it first. Make sure
Interesting.
it wasn't poison. They also kissed the king's tablecloth and seat cushion to make sure their lips didn't itch or swell, which sounds like a gnarly case of pink eye. Like, and like people weren't super hygienic. You have to remember, especially in like medieval England, they believed that bathing was bad for you.
Yeah.
So they're bathing like once every 4 months. So you know that cushion smelled like booty.
Ugh.
And just like, I'm also like, why kissing. Like, why not just touching, like the back of your hand or like
Yeah.
your elbow, or it's like the most sensitive part of your,
No, I hate
and also
it.
like the pathway to right inside your body.
I hate all of
Like,
it.
I could kiss a tablecloth.
Yeah.
It's a little like,
It has just like your little kiss mark on it.
like, I will only do it if I can wear my finest
Exactly.
lipstick. I must leave my mark. Like, oh man, Edward just kissed the seat again. It's his color. I also believe that all these tasters were men.
Yeah.
There was also a porter just to taste the king's salt. So I hope he also tasted the king's water after, because imagine just being the salt taster.
No.
You're like, I'm so thirsty.
That's so interesting.
I'm sure his blood pressure was so high. Just like, and how was it like a
Yeah.
lick your finger in a little, or was it a little spoon?
I hope it's not a spoon.
Spoonful of salt? That does not help the medicine go down.
No.
That makes the medicine
And
dry.
I love my salt.
Oh, same. Give me a pretzel that's more salt than pretzel.
I'm happy.
It's like ketchup. Like any kind of avenue, I can get ketchup in my mouth, but I still need the avenue. I'm not just eating ketchup by the spoonful.
No, exactly.
I'm still a dignified adult.
I'm a lady.
a lady, sir.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I must eat my spoonful of salt on a pretzel.
Exactly. Or on popcorn.
Or on, ooh, yeah.
I love salty
Gotta salt
popcorn.
popcorn.
Oof.
Yep, I'm with you. Oh, that makes me want popcorn.
I know, same.
The king's napkin was brought to the table around a porter's neck to show that he couldn't hide poison. So, like, if he's holding it, there could be like poison underneath it, and then he could secretly be whatever. But if it was around his neck, he's like, no poison here, sir.
Yeah.
And like, he could still like, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like if
He
there's
could find a
will, there's
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Ian Malcolm said.
Exactly. That same porter was also charged with kissing the king's napkin and also the king's utensils before use. So, like, takes the napkin
poor
around,
king.
little smooch, grabs his fork. Actually, they didn't have forks back then yet. I think it was only spoons. Anyways, grabs whatever he's eating with, gives him smooches. But I think it's funny, like,
I would be so, I mean, obviously, like, I understand they didn't know about germs and things, but I would be so grossed out if, like, strangers.
just putting, and especially potentially a servant that is filthy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is I think that probably the taster went out of style when they discovered germ theory.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's worse, poison
Especially
or...
because, like, they don't brush their teeth.
No.
Like.
No. Yeah.
I hate it.
Real gross.
No.
Please don't kiss my... I mean, you could kiss my utensils. You seem like a clean enough person.
I would, yes, I totally could. You wouldn't notice.
No.
I'd just
I would be like, why does this food taste so good? It just tastes like there's love in it.
There's so much love. This knife has been kissed with love.
It's been blessed
Yes.
with the mouth of an angel. That's like people that let their dogs lick their faces or their
Yeah.
cats. I'm like, listen, I get it and I love a dog, but those little jerks lick their buttholes all day long. Like, I don't want butthole on my face.
Yep.
Unless, no, I don't want butthole on my
Unless.
face. Just kidding. Keep your buttholes away from my face. And just me in general. So while food and life stuff testing was probably more inconvenient than dangerous, there were some royals that pushed their testers to the limit. In 1734, the philosopher and general all-around babe Voltaire warned that 60% of the world's population had smallpox. Told you the pox was coming back.
I love,
Well, hopefully
I love
not,
that.
but in this podcast.
Yeah. They're coming back.
Smallpox was a highly infectious disease spread by coughing that led to death or disfigurement beyond recognition. We've talked about smallpox before, probably several times. Current day epidemiologist Renee Najera wrote, "You'd get a horrible disfiguring rash over your entire body, pustules filled with pus." That's a little redundant.
Yeah.
On your scalp, feet, throat, even lungs.
Oh, the pain.
And over the course of a couple of days, they would dry out and start falling off. So that's what caused the crazy scarring. So if you survived smallpox, you
In
would
your
be so
lungs?
scarred. That's how it killed you. It just ravaged your body. And some people wouldn't get it in the areas that were so dangerous. But if you
Yeah.
did, you're toast.
You're done.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Smallpox
I
was
didn't realize they like
gnarly.
fell off.
Yeah. And they like oozed. Have you heard of the buboes from the bubonic plague, like why they call it the bubonic plague. So the reason it's called that is there's these lumps. You get them in your, usually in your groin, but in your lymph nodes.
Yeah.
And they call them buboes. So it's like a big, giant infected sac, but they turn black. And then they just like pus. And that's how people would know that somebody had the bubonic plague, was because they had buboes.
Oh my.
And they would like, do whatever their like witchery was to try to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But they were gnarly. And imagine the smells of these things.
No. Isn't that's why they had those masks?
Yeah, for the plague, because and also all the dead bodies.
Yes.
It just smelled terrible. Not a good time to live.
No.
Famously, Queen Elizabeth I, which we've talked about, had smallpox that left her face so disfigured that she caked it with lead-based white paint to hide the scars.
As you do.
Yeah. So back then, 1/3 of adults with smallpox would die, but it had a wild infant mortality rate of 8 out of 10. Which I always think it's weird when they do out of 10, because for me, in my math brain, I'm like, but you can make that fraction smaller. Because in my brain, I'm like, that's 4/5.
Yeah.
Why say 8 out of 10?
Yeah.
It's 4 out of 5. Drives me. I hear it on the radio all the time. They give statistics. I'm like, gah, you need to make the fraction smaller. Reduce your fractions.
Because they're like, at least it's 2. But you're like, no, it's the
but
same.
it's really only
it's the
1.
Same math.
It's 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, that's 80%
Yeah.
of infants would die. And kids had terrible mortality rate.
Right.
As well.
Anyways.
Yeah. But even a third of adults, that's huge for a mortality rate. Imagine if a third of people that had gotten COVID died.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like, and there were millions and millions and millions of people that died from COVID.
I always say I wouldn't have made it if I was born like way back when.
Oh,
I
no.
like had strep throat all the time when I was little.
Same.
I was like, I would have gotten taken out. Like,
You would have been the infant mortality.
yeah, I would have been included in that number.
You would have been number 3 out of 5.
Yep.
So smallpox treatments ranged from placing people in hot rooms or sometimes cold rooms, abstaining from eating melons, wrapping patients in red cloth, and giving 12 bottles of small beer to the patient every 24 hours.
That's specific.
Which sounds like a standard night out in Hollywood in
Yeah.
2009. I'm like, yeah, they probably were fine because they were so drunk
They were
that they were like, I
wasted.
feel good.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts.
Discharge me. I can go home.
You could have just given them water like John Kellogg. It's
Yeah.
a good antiseptic,
They're like,
anesthetic.
this will heal you.
So those were some of the, treatments, which
Of course,
clearly
naturally.
worked well. Mm-hmm. The only method that actually worked was called inoculation or variolation. The way that they did this was they took pus from a smallpox pock and scratched it into the healthy person's skin. Or they blew smallpox scabs up a healthy person's nose.
No, I can't. I don't know which
Just
one's
kidding.
worse.
This episode is gross. I totally lied. I was just thinking about the tasters. So that's what I was going to ask. The very important question: pus or scabs?
I can't think of what's
I feel like
worse.
pus would be better.
I would rather the
Because
pus.
if it goes up your nose, you're going to taste it. It's going to get in your mouth.
I can't.
Imagine when you get water up your nose.
No, I just do what you must.
Infect me how you will.
Oh my. Ugh.
Yeah. So the idea behind that is that you give yourself, a little bit. It's exactly like how vaccinations work. Is
Yeah.
you just expose yourself to a small bit. You get a little bit sick. You build up the antibodies, and then if you really get infected, you don't get sick.
Yeah,
Doesn't kill you.
Very smart, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was, a new idea in the 1700s. So in 1767, Holy Roman Empress and Mother of the Year, Maria Theresa, who we've also talked about before, she was Marie Antoinette's mom, she contracted smallpox, but she survived. And shortly after, she lost 2 of her children, as well as a few other family members, and she began to be interested in the concept of inoculation. So this was kind of a new thing. Some people were whispering in her ear, and most of the, royal families in other countries were like, absolutely not. It was very controversial. It was very why would we risk it?
Yeah.
We'll just risk smallpox. But she was really interested in it.
Yeah.
As royals are far too important to be trying risky new things on themselves or their children, she ordered that it be tried on 34 newborn orphans and 67 orphans between the age of 5 and 14.
What a B word.
Yeah. Once it was deemed safe, she had herself and 2 of her children inoculated. She even hosted a dinner for all of the inoculated children at Schönbrunn Palace, which I've been to, waiting on the children herself. I can only assume that they were all still orphans at this point, and I'm sure a fancy meal in a fancy palace didn't do much for their morale when they headed back to the orphanage that night. And they must have all gotten sick because that's the way inoculation works. Yeah. You get sick. Yeah. So it's like, we're going to test this thing on you. You're going to get super sick and you still don't have any parents. See you later. Bye. Here's some food. But enjoy your full belly.
You had this really nice night that you're never going to have again.
That she and I just love the idea of it's the white savior where, as she was serving them, she was like, I've done such a great thing here.
She really patted herself on the back.
Yeah. Maria Theresa is often championed as an early proponent of inoculation, which led to the later process of vaccination. So, obviously her pushing it as somebody that's really high profile was really good and a good advance for science. But when I was doing this research, it was actually really hard for me to find mention of the orphans in historical articles.
Really?
Most of the articles were just lauding her for her bravery and testing it on herself and her children first. Most articles don't even mention. A lot of articles are literally she took such a big risk. And right. It's hard to find.
And you're she didn't, though.
No, she didn't. I mean, she still took some risk.
There's still a risk.
But you've tested it on, dozens and dozens of kids, and the odds are good.
Yeah.
So although her actions did lead to a positive outcome, we also need to keep in mind what would have happened had it gone the other way.
Yeah.
She would have literally murdered dozens and dozens of orphans. And the orphans likely would have been buried in unmarked graves and nobody would have talked about it. Yep. So you wonder through the years how many of these things happened where it went the other way and then it was just hushed. About it. I mean, even with modern day, the Epstein files, where it's rich people do bad things and they have fixers. They have people to disappear that stuff. And then they're patted on the back when they do it and it goes the right way. But you don't think about, but it could have gone really badly.
Really badly.
But I guess you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right?
So they say.
Or a few orphans' lives. On that note, hand fart. You're welcome. That was
on that note.
My sweaty hands. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
And we're back. In 1847, a Scottish physician named James Simpson was hanging out with his friends, testing out various substances in the quest of new anesthesia drugs. He would literally just have dinners and be like, everybody try this thing. And they'd be like, okay. And it was just they tried it with
ether.
Chloroform. That's how they discovered chloroform.
Oh,
so
gosh.
After the whole group passed out, Simpson realized that this was the latest and greatest and started using it during surgery and enthusiastically promoting it in the medical world. So they tried a whole bunch of things. There was something else they tried before chloroform that he thought was going to be great. And then it was just kidding, it kills people.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so they all napkin on the face, chloroform themselves, and they all passed out. And then came to, and he was like, that was amazing.
Have you seen The Lost City?
No.
With Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Radcliffe? Okay, well.
That's where Daniel Radcliffe is
He's
the villain, right?
Yeah, and he definitely chloroforms Sandra Bullock for a reason. And then she's like, oh my God, people still use that? And he's like, it's a classic for a reason.
It's true. Well, it was not invented, but it was discovered in 1847.
It is a classic.
It is a classic for a reason. So Simpson was a very this is the newest thing, I'm going to use it on everyone.
Yeah.
He was a little bit haphazard in that way.
Sure.
But he just discovered a lot of things and pushed anesthesia really far ahead. So at first they were administering it just literally on a napkin on the face. And then another doctor discovered a way to do it in an inhaler.
Oh.
It was just working so well.
Yeah.
So in smaller doses, it wouldn't put you all the way out. It would just help you not feel pain.
Interesting.
And in larger doses, like when you chloroform somebody before you murder them,
Yeah.
because you don't want them to be awake while you're murdering them.
Right.
So that's when they would use it as an anesthetic. And so I think people started going overboard with using it as anesthetic. And so in 1848, the first death by chloroform was recorded. It was a 15-year-old girl that was having a very basic procedure done, but too much chloroform was used. They like came to her home to do, like it was like an ingrown toenail or something. It was like something so stupid.
Yeah.
She was only 15. She died. So then they realized like too much of this is actually
Bad.
toxic.
Yeah.
And it slows down things too much and you can die. So notorious asshole Queen Victoria caught wind of the use of chloroform and her interest was piqued. So even though this one girl at this point had died, they were still kind of figuring out like, okay.
The levels.
Yeah. So James Simpson was very like all in with it, but there were other doctors that were like, okay, maybe if we just use a little, and then they started discovering you could use it more as an antiseptic, less as anesthesia. So they were still playing with it. And when all this was happening, Queen Victoria caught wind that it helped in surgeries. And where James Simpson was a little wild and reckless, one of the Queen's personal physicians, John Snow, was careful and calculated. John Snow. Which also helped a lot when fighting the White Walkers north of the wall. When I read it, I'm like, Jon Snow. I just kept hearing it in the voice of the
Jon Snow.
Snow. It sounds so stupid. In my head, it sounds perfect. Then it comes out of my mouth. I'm like, I sound so dumb.
Not great with accents.
But yes, his name was Jon Snow. And in my heart, I would like to think that Martin, the writer of
George R. Martin.
George R. Martin, he was like, this Jon Snow guy sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make
I
a
like that
character
name.
named, every bastard will be a Snow.
He's a bastard. Snow of the North. Snows of the North.
Yeah. But so he was more calculated and he was on her team of personal physicians. First of all, at this point, she had already had 7 children and she openly spoke about how much she detested childbirth. She actually called it a wretched thing.
Yeah.
So she was also, if you've ever seen Queen Victoria's clothing in a museum, she was like
Tiny.
4'9". She was teensy, tiny.
Wow.
Yeah. But she was a little rotund.
Right.
So I think in photographs of her, you don't realize how
Yeah.
small she was. So, imagine this small woman is having so many kids and, no anesthetic or anything back then. So she was like, maybe this is the ticket.
This is the secret.
And also she loved to bang her husband,
Yeah.
Prince Albert.
Good for her.
And there was no birth control. And also back then it was like the more kids, the better because they would die as fast as you could make them.
Yeah.
So this was clearly something she was going to keep having to do.
Right.
So she wanted to, just look into
An
the idea.
easier way.
Chloroform, yeah.
Yeah.
So all of her medical staff advised against the use of chloroform besides Snow. So as a compromise, she waited until her lady in waiting had chloroform administered by Snow during a tooth extraction.
Okay.
So she's like,
Oh, good. I was like, her lady in waiting, they're trying it on her pregnancy. That just stressed me
not
out.
on her pregnancy.
Okay,
no.
a toothache.
Thankfully.
That's better.
Yeah. So they extracted her tooth and she just was like, let's make sure she doesn't die first. And then if she doesn't die, then it's okay. So after the lady survived, Victoria pushed the pedal to the metal to get Snow to use chloroform during her next 2 deliveries. And it worked great. And she became like #1 fan of chloroform.
She's like, I love chloroform.
Yeah. She's like, it's my friend.
It's my favorite.
She actually described the feeling as soothing, quieting, and delightful beyond measure. And she called it blessed chloroform.
Oh. Wow.
So there was a medical journal at this time. It was called The Lancet. I'm like, what a great name.
That
for
is a great name.
Journal. And they wrote an article about Queen Victoria using chloroform. They said, intense astonishment, therefore, has been excited through the profession by the rumor that Her Majesty, during her last labor, was placed under the influence of chloroform, an agent which has unquestionably caused instantaneous death in a considerable number of cases. Doubts on this subject cannot exist. So, they're basically saying, if you use it, you will die.
Yeah.
It was so dramatic.
Very dramatic.
And, of course, they're going to say, why use it? You're just a woman giving birth. What would you possibly...
Men.
It's not that important.
A man wrote that.
100%.
Yeah.
And at this point, only 21 deaths had been documented, and they were mostly due to administration error. By this point, they had realized, if we give too much...
There's a
I said,
science to
so
it.
Snow was actually the physician that invented the inhaler version of
That's what I
administering
imagined.
chloroform.
Was
Yeah.
that the thing that was kind of it looked like the mask, but then they would put drops of it on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were also when they would do the handkerchief, they put it on a handkerchief, and then it almost looked like when you put oil in your car and you use those little, like, what are they called? Funnels?
Yeah.
It almost looked like that. Like the Tin Man, his hat.
Yes.
It looked just like that. I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think so that it wouldn't dissipate too fast.
Right.
So they'd get a little air through that little hole.
Interesting.
But then it would, and a lot of the time in the early days when they were doing chloroform, the doctor was administering it while he was doing surgery. They didn't have an anesthesiologist.
Yikes.
This was like the birth of anesthesia.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. A lot of it was user error. So once they kind of figured out how to get it administered correctly, people weren't dying as much. But eventually it fell out because it caused liver damage. So it wasn't like the best form of anesthesia.
Yeah.
But yeah, this article is definitely very over the top.
Yeah.
But it's a woman, and it's a woman leader, so she's going to be under constant scrutiny.
For sure.
When Victoria had it used, she had it administered in a handkerchief in small enough amounts to keep her conscious but sedated. So she didn't actually completely go to sleep. But that's why she was saying it was soothing. So Simpson was very much like, put him out, like make him pass out.
Yeah.
And Snow was like, no, we need to give them pain relief, but we
Right.
don't want them unconscious.
Especially for like birth, where your body has
you need
to
to
do
push.
something.
Yeah, exactly. And so Snow figured out a way that he could administer enough that would take the pain away, but that the body would still push. So
Okay.
even though the mom was like, she still had the physiological, like she would push
Right.
when
She
she
had
needed
control
to push.
over her body.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, after Queen Victoria used it, it became like the rage and everybody wanted it.
Of course.
But then it actually became the cure in the vein of, or the cure-all in the vein of radium, where it was like,
Oh.
then it was in everything.
Yeah.
And the cure-all was called Hamlin's Wizard Oil.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
The thing about chloroform that I think is interesting is chloroform is it's a liquid, but you inhale it.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So was this cure-all like an oil that you would just put on a rag and then just breathe? Like obviously you're not ingesting it. You're not drinking it.
Wizard oil. I wanted to see what it like
You
looked
find
like.
pictures?
Will cure your rheumatism.
It was still early days of pictures too. I don't know if there would actually be a picture of it.
It's like there's an advertising poster, because I wanted to kind of just see what the bottle.
Yeah, I
looked
didn't even look it up.
Okay, so that's like the poster.
Oh, I see. We'll put the poster here.
Yes. And then
But see, like it says, cures rheumatism.
Yeah.
Like, how is chloroform going to cure rheumatism?
and then like the package
Oh,
and
okay.
the bottle.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of like, in like the old movies where there's like the drunk that's always drinking his like cough medicine because like alcohol was illegal. That's what
Yeah.
that looks like. But yeah, I wonder if it was meant to be
wow.
administered with a handkerchief.
Look, you can buy the bottle on Etsy.
Oh, cool. How much is it?
Let's look.
I bet it's so expensive.
Oh, it's sold.
I would have
Rats.
bought that for
Oh,
sure.
1,000%. Kind of off topic, but also not really. I weirdly stumbled. This is how goes to show you how weird my algorithm is. I weirdly stumbled upon this guy's page. I think he's in Scotland, and he like scuba dives in this like channel somewhere, and he finds it was like an old Victorian dumping ground, and so he
Oh.
finds all of these like old bottles
Cool.
like this.
Yeah.
And they're so freaking
That's
cool. There's like
amazing.
violet, like glass jars, and like
Cool.
it's
Be cool if you found a radium
so
bottle.
awesome. Yeah. No, it's so cool. And this is kind of what it reminds me of, because it's that
Yeah.
beautiful like green glass.
And it's like I love that the wizard oil is embossed in the glass. Like that will last forever.
Forever.
It's not like a paper label.
I love like old posters and things like that.
Totally.
The art of it is just so interesting.
Yeah.
And with a name
And
like
with,
Hamlin's a wizard oil.
Totally. Like who thought of that? And it's chloroform.
So cool.
So, like I said, the ingestion of significant amounts of chloroform can cause liver damage. So I guess that wizard oil was ingested. It was meant to be drank. So it was just a cure-all.
Interesting.
Like, that's not really how chloroform works, you idiots. I said the use of chloroform by Queen Victoria created a buzz. It soon became a popular way to help women with painful deliveries. And even though it eventually fell out of favor, many ladies have the lady with the missing tooth to thank. So because of her, a lot of women had more painless births.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then, at some point they figured out nitrous and then they don't do it in the States, but in England, they still use nitrous during childbirth.
Really?
It's really common.
I feel like that'd be
they
better
call it air
than
and
like
gas. It's like part of delivery is like, do you want air and gas? And then you just sign up for it and then you get your little nitrous.
I feel like that's so much better than an epidural. Like,
Yeah.
please don't shoot anything into my
Into my spine.
Thanks.
And then, so like my friend had a baby, she had an epidural, and she was like, yeah, because your legs are dead.
Yeah.
So if you don't have more than one nurse, your husband has to hold one of your legs up. So if you don't want your husband to see it, don't get
Yeah.
an epidural because then he's just right there.
He's in
Because the
your
nurse has to hold
business.
one leg up.
Yeah.
And the other, like your husband has to hold the other. So if you
Yeah.
don't have two nurses to do that,
Yikes.
good luck.
Yeah. No.
There is also the possibility with an epidural of like hitting a nerve and
I
like
just
that kind of thing.
stay away from my spinal cord thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
Yeah.
any needles or anything
No.
weird. That sounds awful.
It sounds like the absolute worst.
Give me the gas.
Give me the gas.
Give me the gas.
That doesn't sound great either.
No, but, you know.
Either I'm killing you or I'm farting on you. I don't know if either one is good. You're in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I can't decide. Pus or scabs, gas or needles.
It's a real Sophie's choice
Oh
here.
my gosh, I'm stressed out.
I'll just take cupcakes in a nice comfy bed.
Can I just have the wizard's oil, please?
Yes, please. Just the empty bottle. I'll take that. Pretty much every tester in history is just a nameless schmo that took one for the team. So I want to close this podcast with a dedication to those brave men, women, and orphans that help the lives of very rich and powerful people be a little bit easier. Oh, and thanks for curing smallpox.
Thank you.
So that is it. That is my episode.
That was a great episode.
I feel like that was minimal grossness.
yeah.
It was really gross,
We got in there,
but it was
though.
minimal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all I got for this week. You got anything else?
That's it. Love
All
it.
right. Thanks for watching in our new location. Let us know what
Yeah.
you think if you love it. Like I said, if you hate it, too bad. But
Let us know if you love it.
Yeah. Let us know
you're-
if you love
hate
it.
You can keep it to yourself.
And give us 5 stars. And if you don't want to rate us 5 stars, then just don't. I hear all the time, like, be sure to follow and rate 5 stars. I'm like, what a weird thing to tell people.
Yeah.
Like, you just want people to rate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want 2 stars, but
Yeah.
yeah, don't give us 2 stars. I'll find you.
Just, if you have gripes or grievances, just let us know.
Yeah, just send us a comment
Yeah.
or send us a message.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave it in the show review.
Exactly.
Don't be a jerk. All right, that's all I got too. So until next time, keep
Keep
it
it
real.
real. Bye.